Welcome to True Crime with Strategic Eyes.
Strategic back again. Guys, if you can't tell, I am recovering from a very bad cold. Oh my gosh, I don't know. It hit me like 24 hours of madness, right? My voice is still not there. This is from throwing up. It was just a really bad head cold. Like the rest of my body feels fine, just a head cold. I am recovering. Big shout out to my lieutenant for giving me yesterday off. Sometimes people start thinking kind of funny things when you just had a vacation and now you're sick. Well, I really was sick, and I appreciate my lieutenant. Like, nah, man, take the day off. Today, I should take another day off. I'm not 100%, but I'm definitely getting there. But I'm going to go to work. We work in teams, and I don't want my team to be hurt anymore by us being short-staffed. That means more cases for them, and, you got to be a team player in this line of work that we do. Welcome to True Crime Strategic, guys. I'm going to try not to talk as much as I usually talk, and I don't think I'll have to because we have so much information to share with you guys. I'm going to use all of my energy, though, to just bring this to your attention, ladies and gentlemen. When we talk about true crime, usually it's very easy, especially on this channel, because we usually give a voice to the voiceless. We'll talk about SA and children, adults being SA, the whole nine. It's pretty easy. Who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? It doesn't matter what side you're on the political aisle. It's easy to coalesce around, hey, this person, a pedophile, is a bad person. Let's all hate the pedophile. But when you start talking about stuff like this, Charlie Kirk assassination, it's steeped and stooped in ideology and politics. And so now some people feel that they have to defend individuals who are involved in this, not because the facts say that they're innocent, but because of their ideology, because of how they identify, etc. Here on True Crime with Strategic, we don't care about that stuff. Whenever you watch this channel, we are detectives. We are simply looking for the facts. We don't care about what your race, gender, creed, or anything else is. We don't care. And I say this because I've been telling you guys for a little while that I wholeheartedly believe that there's a possibility, allegedly, that Lance, aka Luna Twiggs, is going to be charged. And the information we're going to be going through today is going to bolster that theory. I am not saying that he did anything wrong that I can prove. I'm telling you based off the information that I've seen that is made available to me and to you on the internet, that it looks as though he should be charged as an accessory. Now, a lot of people push back on that. Why? The only reason why I could think about people pushing back on it is because he identifies as trans. Once again, we're not a political show. We're not an ideological show. We care not how he identifies or she identifies. In fact, we prefer to call people by their preferred pronouns. It is what it is. But if I waffle back and forth between he and she, it's not purposeful. It's not me being disrespectful. It's just me being a human being, because I'm not even sure if they are trans, because lots of reporting says that they're trans, but then you look at other reporting and they present totally as male. Whatever. The bottom line is some people are defending this individual based off of their sexuality and not off of the facts. And as we will I'm going to relay to you guys, the facts will clearly show that Tyler Robinson notified Lance, aka Luna Twiggs, via a letter that he was going to commit this act against Charlie Kirk before it happened. The facts will show, in my opinion, that Twiggs destroyed that letter. That is a crime. That is a crime. The facts will also show that afterwards, Twiggs relayed this information, the knowledge that Twiggs had, to a friend and not to police. And lastly, the facts will show that in a group chat or text message group chat, Robinson notified Twiggs and 20 other people that he committed the crime. None of those people, including Twiggs, reported this information to law enforcement. Now, I don't know who else was in that group chat. I don't know if it was trans people, straight people. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because this is not about people's sexuality. If it is for you, then I'm sorry that you think that way. I don't think any of those people should be charged because, except for Twiggs, because they are just internet people. I mean, with the information I see, if there's more information, more in-depth conversation where this person's like, I'm planning on doing it, what's your thinking, and they're like helping plan, then my opinion will change. If it's just him saying, I want to kill this guy, whatever. These are internet people. Some of these people might be thousands of miles away. They might not even met this guy in their life. They're like, oh, maybe he's just talking crazy. Morally, they had a duty to say something, just like the people who saw the guy Robinson running on the roof had a moral obligation to report that to police, and they did not. We're not going to charge them, are we? Of course not. I mean, really, at the end of the day, Charlie Kirk is really gone because the last line of defense, which was those people who recorded the people running on top of the roof, they didn't do anything. If they'd have said something, Charlie Kirk would still be alive right now. If they'd have went to a cop and said, yo, there's a guy up there that's laying down on the roof, guarantee you Charlie Kirk will be alive right now. But those people just recorded like, oh, that's weird. Look, this guy's just running on the roof and now he's laying down hiding. They narrated everything that we would all of common sense construe as an assassination attempt. They narrated an assassination attempt and then they chose not to report it to anybody. They're in the same category as those 19 people in that group chat. I presume the 20th is Twiggs. The difference between Twiggs and those people is that, number one, Robinson and Twiggs were lovers. I'm pretty sure they discussed this before. Number two, Robinson gave a letter, and there are rumors, because nobody knows the full context of the letters, but there are rumors on the internet. I'm telling you rumors. I'm not saying this is a fact right here. There are rumors on the internet that the contents of that letter was asking Twiggs' opinion on the matter. 3, Twiggs destroyed the letter. 4, Twiggs shared the contents of the letter to a friend after the act was committed. Never reported to police. 5, Twiggs was a part of the group chat that was notified that it was happened from Robinson when he gave his confession. Never reported it to police. And then what happens? Police come knocking on the door. FBI, open up the door. FBI, open up the door. Twiggs cooperates. Twiggs cooperates. Twiggs cooperates when the FBI knocks on his door, not before. Now, people are saying, well, they keep emphasizing that he's fully cooperating. They keep emphasizing he's fully cooperating because they want the information he has. The moment they start making accusatory stuff against him, he now has the ability to get an attorney. Or he has to get an attorney, rather. Once they start talking like they want to arrest Twiggs, Twiggs can get an attorney. So right now they're treating Twiggs like a witness. But that could change very quickly. And I think it will change. So first, before we go into all of the letters and the text messages and the discords and all that stuff, we have a lot of that stuff here. I want to go ahead and play for you some of these 911 calls that were made during this unfortunate tragedy. So these are some of the 911 calls.
Did I hear that?
911, what's the address of your emergency?
The Kirk speaker at UVU just got shot in the head.
Okay, what's the address?
UVU.
And what happened?
He's a speaker, famous guy, Speaker Kirk.
Where
he just got
UVU
shot
are
in the middle
you?
of his speech. I'm in the parking lot. Everybody's running. The whole UVU is running.
Okay.
He just got shot.
Okay, where's the speaker?
I don't know. It was in the middle. There's people around him.
Okay.
The whole school was out there. He was in the middle. He's a speaker. He's a debater, famous debater, political debater.
Do you know where the person that shot him is?
No. I didn't see who. I just heard. I'm just telling you so we can get emergency services here.
Okay.
Everybody's running. I'm going to say a prayer.
You made it to the car?
I'm in the parking lot.
Okay.
I'm thinking about where I even parked.
Okay, we've got lots of help coming that way. I'm going to let you go, okay?
Thank you.
Let's go to the next one. Apologies. Go to the next one.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
There's been a shooting at UDU, Charlie Kirk event, UDU courtyard.
Okay. Can you tell me where you're located? I apologize.
Utah Valley University courtyard.
Okay. Can you tell me what's going on?
What?
Can you tell me what's happening?
What?
What's going on there?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Okay, can you tell me what's going on?
There's been a shooting at Utah Valley University courtyard. Charlie
Okay.
Kirk's been shot.
All right, we're going to get help started that way, okay?
All right. I don't think anybody else has been injured except
Where
him.
are you located?
I'm just in the courtyard.
Okay, where's the...
Looks like someone's been arrested already.
Okay,
but-
can you tell me where he's located at, the patient?
Utah Valley University courtyard. I don't know. Okay, police. It does look like campus police have already responded.
Okay, the police are there?
What?
The police are there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Campus
I'm going to let you go, okay?
All right.
Yep, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So that's just a few of those calls. Just wanted to get you guys a temperature of what it was like during like the incident event, like when things were fresh. All right. So we're going to go over here and I want to definitely play some of this for you guys. Get some of that inside information as to what's going on. We also have some of the text messages and stuff like that.
He has not confessed to authorities. He is not cooperating. But all the people around him are cooperating. We can confirm that his roommate was indeed a boyfriend who is transitioning from male to female, and that he is cooperating with authorities.
A Fox News alert. Charlie Kirk.
All right. Real quick, guys. First of all, appreciate you guys for joining us today. We have 154 likes. We need a whole bunch more. Over 300 people watching the stream. Number 2, I am under the weather. I'm still sick. I'm just getting a little bit better. I am planning on going to work today, but I'm still sick. Some people are like, that doesn't make sense. Why would you go to work when you're sick? Well, you know, this type of work that I do as a detective, you got to go to work. You just have to go to work, all right? You rest after you retire after 20 years. That's why people run out the door after 20 years, because you got to go to work. So please do support the channel. I'm going to, of course, give you my commentary, but it's not going to be as much commentary as I usually give because my voice is shot, okay? So hit that like button, support the channel.
Kirk's murder suspect refusing to cooperate as the FBI discovers new details about his dark digital footprint before he makes his first court appearance tomorrow.
All right, FBI Director Kash Patel joins us now. I can't imagine, Mr. Director, how busy you've been, especially Charlie Kirk isn't just a impactful person, he's your friend. So I understand that.
Before he gets started, you guys know I'm trying not to talk as much, but I do want to make things clear for you folks, because I don't really have a dog in the game. I don't hate trans people. I love everybody, believe me. You know, if I was dictator of the world, I think this world would be a very tolerant place. But I'm also a person that's not governed by my emotions and my feelings. So I want to answer this question from Jen Rodriguez, who says, but why did they say he was transitioning? That doesn't matter, in my opinion. It does matter. And the reason why it matters is because this is a political assassination that was steeped in ideology. One of the things that Charlie Kirk was very critical of is transgender rights in America. Should transgenders be able to play on sports with biological girls? Should transgender male to females be able to go into females' bathrooms? Should transgender teenagers be able to transition as kids? These were hot topics for him. So it does matter if the shooter's girlfriend is transitioning from male to female, because that might have been the motivation. And that's why I tell you guys, I'm not in any way trying to shame Miss Rodriguez. I'm trying to use this as a teachable moment. That's why I tell you guys, when you're here on True Crime Strategic, you can't think the way you think in your regular life. You have to think like a detective. Detectives cannot allow ideology and emotions and feelings to guide their journey to the facts. You have to look at it for what it's worth. So yes, it may feel uncomfortable, especially if you're somebody who ideologically is a fighter for trans rights or whatever. I get that. I respect that. I totally understand how some people's perspectives could be when they're approaching this. But you have to understand that in this particular situation, maybe in our other situations, but in this situation, the fact that the roommate/lover is transitioning is of utmost importance because it goes towards motive. Let's keep going.
But having said that, people are looking to you to find out is how big this investigation is going to be. Can you tell us the latest?
Absolutely. It's so good to be with you. And you're right. My personal feelings and relationship with Charlie, I have a job to do for the American people, and I'm committed to do it for President Trump. We flexed all resources the FBI had and surged multiple air assets as soon as this shooting occurred. We were cycling in agents, evidence response technicians, hostage rescue technicians, and special operators in and out of Utah, cycling evidence back and forth on these FBI planes as soon as we could so that there was no delay. And what we did once I got there, along with the deputy on the ground around 5 p.m. local on September 11th, was walk the entire crime scene, including the foots the suspect himself took. And what we learned was there was evidence, DNA evidence that could be collected and had been collected, including a screwdriver that was found on the rooftop. Also, we went over to the scene in the wooded area where the firearm was discarded. And the firearm had a towel wrapped around it. It's important. I'll get back to that later. I even walked into the wooded area in the ravine, so I knew from my investigative experience what I could bring to the table and what decisions I needed to make. And having the support of President Trump and the full support of the White House was what we needed for these resources to happen. And I can report today that the DNA hits from the towel that was wrapped around the firearm and the DNA on the screwdriver are positively processed for the suspect in custody.
So, Mr. Director, that is vital. That is breaking news and vital information, because now you have the casings for the gun. So you connect the gun. Now you got his DNA on it. That's huge. But I also want to get to another part.
I just got to interrupt. Sorry, I just got to interrupt. We have the DNA on the screwdriver that was found on the rooftop and the towel that the firearm was wrapped in. The firearm itself, this is a great point. Thanks for raising it.
Yeah, no problem.
That is being processed by ATF laboratories in Maryland, and I believe they'll speak to that at a later date when their process is incomplete. But I just want to let you know the FBI handled the screwdriver and the towel found on the scene.
That is important clarification, Mr. Director. I want to get to the 20 members in that group chat. Have they been brought in from questioning? And the group chat from our reporting that we're hearing is from after the assassination. Do you have the messages from before the assassination?
Well, let me take a step back and tell you what we were doing while we were there and how we were led to the suspect so that this all fits into the puzzle. We, as soon as we learned of the shooting, we were able to, I think Charlie Kirk was shot at 12:23 local time on September 10th. By 12:39 p.m. local time, FBI assets were on scene securing the scene. We then launched at 10 a.m. the next day the first images of the suspect. Myself and the deputy arrived at 5 p.m. local.
Kash. The guy asked you about the 20 people in the group chat. What are you talking about, bro? Maybe it's because I'm a little bit sick. I'm definitely sick, not a little bit. That my patient's like, what is he talking about? Tell us about the 20 people in the group chat. What are you talking about? He talking about dudes on the ground? Like, what? Jeez.
Time on September 11th. And then what we did was decided to have a press conference at 8 p.m. local where we issued for the first time FBI obtained video footage that we seized from the security camera.
Wait. Did I hear this wrong? Did the interviewer not ask him about the 20 people in the group chat? Because he's talking about something else. I'm so confused. And listen, I don't have a problem with Kash Patel. I have no issues with this guy. I mean, I'm just going based off of this interview. Like, what is he talking about? The guy asked him about 20 people in the group chat. He's talking about videos and stuff like that.
Camera surveillance system and new images new images, enhanced images, I decided to release immediately to the public because we were working with the public and the media to find this killer. Shortly after that 8 p.m. release, at 10 p.m. local time, the suspect was in custody. Why? Because the father informed us, pursuant to an interview of him, that he looked at the video that we released that evening and the enhanced photos and identified the suspect. That's how fast the FBI was working to put out information in real time. And for comparative sake, the Boston bombing, the FBI didn't release images for 3 days. We know we didn't have 3 days. I made an executive decision on an investigative and operational need, and it turned out to be the right move because the men and women of the FBI said that's what we should be doing.
Yeah, we knew when.
Look, I'm all about back to blue, man. I support the FBI, support the local law enforcement who did the work that they did. I think they did a great job, but you're not answering the questions, man. You're really not answering. I perused through this. He will eventually get through it. I didn't watch the whole thing, so I didn't even see all of this. He eventually gets to answering the question, so we can get the information that we need. But, dude, like somebody said in the chat, this guy sounds like a politician. Like, we don't want a politician. We want somebody who's going to talk to us about law enforcement, okay? He's selling us the FBI. You don't need to sell us the FBI. The FBI, the Utah Public Safety Department, all these people did an amazing job. The UVO or UVU, whatever you call it, local police, they did a good job. Everybody did a good job in finding this guy. We get it. Let's keep going.
When that video was released, we said it here on Fox and Friends, someone's going to recognize this person because someone was friends with him, his family. Someone knows this guy. Those images were crystal clear. Mm-hmm. Tell us what you know about his background, his childhood, his father who had to turn him in.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ignore the last question. Going back to the group chats real quick, there's more than 20 individuals.
Thank you. Let's see what he has to say.
But this is a great point. I want to lay out how this works. People think we can just get in these group chats and immediately find out who's in them. We, the FBI, are the investigatory body supporting multiple prosecutions and ongoing investigations. And that's another point. Our investigation at the FBI is ongoing. And there are scores of people in this Discord chat room. But we have to effectuate legal process. We have to go out there with search warrants so that if prosecutors want to later use this evidence, it's not tainted by being illegally obtained. We, the FBI, are running the investigation pointedly on the Discord chat group. There are scores of individuals that are going to be spoken to. There are also lots of family members and friends that have already been spoken to. And one more point on forensics. We were able to obtain in record time the text message chain between the suspect and his live-in partner, as well as other
listen to this. Pay attention to this, ladies and gentlemen.
Critical cellular information from our CAS team that analyzes cell phone data towers in the area to pinpoint the locations of the suspect and other individuals he was speaking with. This is critical information that the FBI processed and got to prosecutors so they can lawfully use it in a court of law. And our investigation, our interviews continue, but we've learned some shocking things when we spoke to his family and friends as well.
You want to share them? Those shocking things?
Sure. And my job as FBI director is not to speak to motive, is to speak to the facts. And that's what I'm going to do. His family has collectively told investigators that he subscribed to left-wing ideology, and even more so in these last couple of years. And he had a text message exchange, he, the suspect, with another individual, in which he claimed that he had an opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and he was going to do it.
So somebody said they didn't find him, he turned himself in. I'm looking at it from a law enforcement perspective. For us, a win is not us tracking you down. It's not just us tracking you down and knocking on your door and getting you. The fact that the information was out there, his picture was out there, his father recognized him, he would have got caught eventually. Him turning himself in is not a loss for the FBI. I see a lot of people saying that. And I get it. If you're a novice, if you're not in law enforcement, that might seem like, like a get, but it's not. He turned himself in because the police was able to do the investigation, get the video, get the photos out there. It made his world start getting smaller and smaller and smaller. That's all part of the investigation. So it's not always, you went and you parachuted into his bedroom window and flashbanged everybody in the house and then you dragged them out in handcuffs. That's not the only win. In fact, that's the most dangerous win. the best win that we could have is you turning yourself in. I do essay investigations. A great proportion of my cases, my arrests, are me contacting a person and saying, hey, listen, I've got this investigation that's going on, and I'd like for you to come down and talk to me. And then they turn themselves in. I didn't go and bang and kick their door down and drag them out their house. I didn't go to their job and rip them from their job. I just called them and said, hey, listen, I'm interested in talking to you about this situation. Can you come on down here and talk to me? And I'll speak to them. And sometimes I may not arrest them, because sometimes they may be able to tell me things that puts things into context and supply me with evidence that prove that what they're being accused of didn't happen. And sometimes I'll arrest them. Sometimes they'll confess. Sometimes they won't. Whatever. The bottom line is, let's not keep saying, oh, well, he turned himself in. Well, to us law enforcement, we don't care. And that's why Kash Patel doesn't care and the Utah governor doesn't care, because they understand how law enforcement works. We don't care. The fact is, he's no longer on the streets and he's facing adjudication. That's how that works in the real world.
Because of his hatred for what Charlie stood for. Those are factually accurate investigatory findings by the FBI that we've handed over to the local authorities and the federal authorities to make their prosecutorial decisions. But I believe in this instance of such public importance, the public has a right to know. And I've told you I'm committed to transparency, and that's what I'm doing here today.
Why didn't that person that he was talking to, why didn't that person say something?
Our investigation is ongoing. That's a great question, and we don't have an answer on that just yet.
But Mr. Director, you're right. Your job is not to speak to ideology, but you do have the BAU, the Behavior Analysis Unit, that are there. And my sources, people that are within the Bureau and outside that used to be FBI, tell me that the BAU has been encouraged not to tackle the transgender issue from an ideology standpoint. Have you heard that? Are you tackling that? I know you've only been there recently, but you can't have a political slant saying we're not going to attack different political ideologies because it's going to offend someone.
You're absolutely right. And that's why me and the deputy have been quarterbacking this investigation ourselves. There is no one at the FBI that is going to politicize this investigation. There's no one at Quantico or anywhere else that is going to say we are not looking at X or Y. We are looking at the facts, and that is why we are releasing the facts in record fashion. If you go back and look at historical cases like Luigi Mangione and the Boston bombing, how long did it take the Bureau?
By the way, with the Luigi Mangione, looks like New York is dropping the ball already. They've dropped 2 terrorist murder charges, so he's no longer being charged with terrorism murder charges. He's only being charged with second-degree murder charges now. The judge has thrown it out. The grand jury got him on 2 terrorism murder charges. The judge overruled the grand jury and said that they weren't shown sufficient evidence to charge him with the terrorism charge. Still got the feds, though. The feds could charge him whatever they want. Feds is a different animal. But just know that already, New York is dropping the ball on that case. It is what it is. I was going to make another point, but whatever. Let's keep going.
To release information to the public. We're not doing that. Those 2 manhunts took 5 days, and they happened in downtown major metropolises. We apprehended our suspect in 33 hours because we were transparent and open with the American public, and we're going to continue to do that. So anyone that thinks that the FBI is not on top of its game and that me and the deputy and everybody in leadership in our Salt Lake City field office in Quantico is doing anything politically, I'm not having it. And if you've heard anything else about it, they are lying to you. We're on it.
That's why it's so important that you came on, and we're thrilled you are. A couple other things. I have 2 quick questions. One, is it true what the governor said yesterday that he had a written note that you're looking into now?
And listen, guys, I know there's a lot of political stuff in here, but this is very probative, okay? Believe me, I don't care about any of the politics. This is very probative. Keep listening, because they're talking about, like, interspersed between, because this is Fox News and this is Kash Patel, and they support each other. So in between that stuff, and I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing, it is what it is, but I'm just saying in between, they're talking about very important things. They're about to talk about the note right now, so listen up.
Now, prior to the assassination, did he have a note? And the other one question is, the person that was texting with him about, I have a shot at taking out Charlie Kirk, can that person be charged?
So I'll take those in reverse. The charging decisions are up to our great partners at the Department of Justice and the Attorney General, who have been wonderful providing resources.
Charge him. If somebody texts you and say, I'm going to kill somebody, I have the chance to do it, I am now going to make it happen, and you do not report that to the police, you are liable. You are liable. Twiggs should be charged if the evidence paints this story. If the evidence doesn't paint that story, then leave Twiggs alone. I am not a part of a witch hunt. I'm not into that. I'm not into mob justice. I'm not into witch hunts. It looks from the evidence that we've seen so far that Twiggs knew before and after and destroyed evidence. If that is the case, if that is what the U.S. attorneys are working with when it comes to evidence, Twiggs needs to be charged. Not because he's trans, not because he's a part of the LGBTQIA community, not because he's Caucasian, not because he's a human being, because he had material information and evidence that his partner was going to commit a heinous crime, that his partner was going to take another person's life, and he did nothing with that information. What he did do, allegedly, was destroy evidence. That's why he should be charged. All right, before we keep going, please do hit that like button, support the channel, guys, so we can get to the algorithm. The show can be shown to a wider audience. And also, we are trying to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're less than 2,000 subscribers away from 100,000. We're going to ask that you please hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. And please do excuse my voice. I am recovering from a bad cold, but I'm here. I'm here. And pretty soon I'm going to be working tonight, helping out the victims. Hopefully nobody calls. In my line of work, we want nobody to reach out to us because that means that nobody got SA'd. But there's always somebody who's going to reach out because that's a fact of the evil world that we live in. So I'll be doing that later, right? But anyway, please hit that like button. Some of you may think that you are subscribed, but if you check, you're probably not subscribed, and we need you to be subscribed. Let's keep going.
During this entire process, and we'll let them speak to any charging decisions. But we, the FBI, are investigating. As I said, our investigation is ongoing. We're interviewing dozens and dozens of suspects, subjects, witnesses, and the like, and continuing to examine forensic information, including cell phone data and DNA analyses. And once we make those findings, hand it over to our partners, as we're doing in real time, they'll make those decisions. And I'm sorry, Brian, I forgot your other question.
You had a written note. Did he write a written note before the assassination attempt? That's what the governor said yesterday. And what did that say? If you could.
So what I'm able to say. I'm sorry. So what I'm able to say is I addressed it partially earlier. Is that the written note we believe what did exist. Sorry. And we have evidence to show what was in that note, yes. Which is, and I'm going to summarize, basically saying, the suspect wrote a note saying, I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. That note was written before the shooting. Evidence of its existence, we now have learned, existed before the shooting, was in the location in the suspect and partner's home. But we have since learned that the note, even though it has been destroyed, we have found forensic evidence of.
Now, this is what I think that means, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you what I think that. I'm going to decode this. I have no evidence of it. This is just my theory. I'm going to decode this for you guys. So he said that the note exists and the note was destroyed. Let me let him finish. The
note, and we have confirmed what that note says because of our aggressive interview posture at the FBI.
All right, so aggressive interview posture at the FBI. I'm gonna decode this for you guys. I know exactly what he's saying. What did Twiggs do after the shooting? Let's see how many of you guys are paying attention. What was the first thing that Twiggs did after the shooting, ladies and gentlemen? I'm looking at that chat right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See, you guys not paying attention, but that's why you're watching True Crime Strategic. The first thing that Twiggs did was he texted either the shooter or a friend. Somebody got it. But one thing that we know is that he also spoke to a friend, and he explained to the friend what was in the note. I'm going to tell you what I think Twiggs actually did. That's it right there. Rachel M., that is it right there. You got it, Rachel. I'm sick, and you just made me excited because you are a detective, Rachel M. You are a freaking detective. I love you. He took a picture of the pic. When Kash says through our forensic whatever, we was able to get it, he took a picture of the note and sent it to his friend. They were able to recreate it by getting the information from Twiggs' phone. You best believe they took Twiggs' phone. They got a search warrant and took Twiggs' phone. And they dumped Twiggs' phone. They got every single conversation Twiggs ever had. They took a picture. Twiggs took a picture of the note. Twiggs destroyed the note. But before he destroyed the note, he took a picture of the note and he sent the note to his friend. This is what I think happened. I have no evidence of it, but I'm telling you as a detective what I think would happen. Listen, it takes a certain mind to be a detective. Like, agencies, when they're looking to make you a detective, when you want to go down that path, that career path, they're looking for people who could think outside of the box. That's why I told you, you cannot be hampered by ideology. All right? You can't. Your mind has to be open to all possibilities in order to piece these things together. So, Twiggs most likely took a picture of the note, destroyed the note. That's a crime. He destroyed the note. That's a crime. Then he sends the picture of the note to his friend, like, yo, look what my man just said. The FBI comes, talks to Twiggs, say, yo, give me your phone. We want your phone. Probably either made him sign a voluntary consent or got a search warrant for it. They dump the phone. They're able to get the phone. Get everything that's in the phone. The pictures, the text messages, everything is in the phone. They got it. Then Kash Patel talks about their aggressive interview style. You know what that aggressive interview style means? I'll tell you what that means. Has anybody ever seen an FBI interview? Probably not, because the FBI, they don't release their stuff. Just like the Supreme Court doesn't let you video record inside the Supreme Court. You can only audio record. The FBI, they don't record their stuff. So you don't ever see it. Very rarely do you see it. You know what their interview style is? You think that they're the best interviewers on the planet? No, they're not. I work with some of the best interviewers out there, including myself. At least I feel that way. This is the FBI interview style. We are the FBI. We have a 90% conviction rate. We will put you in Florence, Colorado in the Supermax, and you will never see the light of day again. Don't fuck with us. Excuse my language. That is the FBI interview style. That is the FBI interview style. So they got Twiggs in the interview room like, yo, listen, it's looking like you knew a lot of stuff and you ain't tell nobody. You better spill the beans. You better cooperate otherwise. And now Twiggs is cooperating. Remember, Twiggs didn't start cooperating until the FBI came knocking on his door. FBI, open up. That's when Twiggs started cooperating. Remember that. Let's keep going.
So, Mr. Director, I'm curious, and there has been some criticism, so I appreciate you coming on our program and discussing it with our audience. Can you tell us what was happening on the ground? Apparently, according to sources, you weren't getting some information, you requested photos, and you were being stonewalled. Now, I think it's important to note, there's always some sort of tension between local cops on the ground.
We got to stop this real quick, just real quick. I'm sorry, I apologize, but this is important to me. It's very important to me. It's extremely important to me. Dr. Cataclysm is celebrating 25 months as a patrol member, but his message is what matters the most to me. He says, crazy that you're almost at 100K. I was your 382nd sub. 382nd sub. Boy, oh boy, what a journey we've been on together, Dr. Cataclysm. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you. You are appreciated. Let's keep going.
And the feds, they want to handle their own investigation. But of course, with an investigation of this magnitude, you have to step in. You have the resources. But can you explain, was it the local field office? Was it the state police? What was going on?
So the local authorities have been fantastic. Okay. The local sheriff, the state PD have been wonderful. And any investigation, as you hinted to, of this magnitude has so many people in it because I'd made the decision to search so many resources. And to get the information up to me was of the utmost priority. So I worked with my team to say, hey, there's not going to be any delays. We're not going to do it the way we normally do things. So the only thing that people were doing at the FBI was how they knew how to do things. I had to expedite that process. That's my job. That's what I thought this case deserved. And that's what this case was rightly calling for. So I made the tough calls. But I wasn't critical of anyone in particular. I just said, we got to move faster. And that was my call to make. And if there's any criticism there, you can put it right here.
Who wasn't giving you information,
all right, hold on.
Director? Who wasn't giving you the photos when you requested them quickly and it didn't make it to you? Who denied that order?
It's not a denial of the order. Just to clarify, I'm glad we're talking about this. The photos were produced. They just weren't produced in a timely fashion that I felt was appropriate for an investigation of this magnitude. So I came in and I accelerated that process.
So in the 24 hours after, when we were still looking for the guy, I know you posted that we got him. That ended up not being true. You took some incoming because of that.
This is good because I really felt that was not cool. That mistakes happen, but as the FBI director, you gotta be more measured. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's looking for that text from you. You could wait until you know for a fact that you have who you think you have. Big shout out to Darla. She says, I remember when you was sitting on the couch, on the floor in front of the couch making videos. That's a long time ago, man. That's another person been with me for a long time. Let's keep going.
What led to you posting that? Why did you feel so certain about it? And what do you have to say about the criticism?
No, I appreciate this opportunity. Look, as I stated, I was being transparent with working with the public on our findings as I had them. I stated in that message that we had a subject and that we were going to interview him, and we did, and he was released. The job of the FBI is not just to manhunt the actual suspect who did the killing or suspects, but it's also to eliminate targets and eliminate subjects who are not involved in the process, and that's what we were doing. Could I have worded it a little better in the heat of the moment? Sure. But do I regret putting it out? Absolutely not. I was telling the world what the FBI was doing as we were doing, and I'm continuing to do that, and I challenge anyone out there to find a director that has been more transparent and more willing to work the media on high-profile cases, or any case the FBI is handling, than we have been under my
just follow. Do you think that guy was part of the plot to distract you while this guy got away? Do you think there's any connection between two of those people that stood up and acted crazy at that moment?
All right. Let's go to the next one. This one's interesting, though. Big shout out to we got the oldies and the goldies coming out the woodworks, man. We appreciate you. We got Kawan Calendar says, remember when you used to be in your car driving when 2020? A long time ago, man. It used to be a car show first. We kind of started out in the car, and then we moved to the basement, to the floor, then to the couch. We was on the couch making videos with the blue Yeti mic, the big orb. Man, listen, it is what it is, man. You guys are crazy. And yeah, Rachel M, I agree with you 100%. This guy is selling himself. This is when, before Aki believed in the show, when she was laughing at me like, you talking this. Then one day she was like, stop talking politics and do what you don't know what the hell you talking about when you talk about politics, strategic. Talk what you know. Talk true crime. I was like, okay. So then we changed the show. But it is what it is. Let's keep going.
It's been piling up. You have these statements in the gaming chat room, if you will. The FBI has been gathering all this evidence in, as well as the other investigative agencies.
From the beginning, sorry.
We begin with Garrett Tenney live at the Utah County Jail in Spanish Fork with all the breaking details on this investigation. Hi, Garrett.
Carly, good morning to you. We have learned that the suspect told at least several individuals that he was planning to assassinate Charlie Kirk. In one of those instances, it was in a note he left for his romantic partner. In another, it was a text message to a separate individual. Neither person has been charged, but they could be down the road as the investigation continues. Here's FBI Director Kash Patel describing one of the...
See what I'm saying, guys? Like, listen, guys, these people knew. These folks could have prevented this situation from happening. They knew. The evidence is coming out. In my opinion, they knew. It's not like this guy is a internet baby. He's a child of the internet. We know how these folks are. This new generation, they don't keep secrets. You know, they got to update their timeline before they do something. They got to go live, right? Hey, guys, I'm about to go rob a bank. Look, I'm walking into the bank right now. Hello, tellers. This is a stick up. All right, guys. Hold on here. Let me rest this on a column so that you could get a view of everything. All right, they rest it down. They fix their hair. Make sure that their eyebrows look nice and everything. And then they go to the bank teller, give me all the money. Then they go to the victims like, yo, can you hold this right here? Hold the camera and record this. This is this generation. They live stream everything. They put everything on the internet. These folks knew. This guy didn't just do this for ideology. He did it for clout. How do I know he did it for clout? Like, you know who did something for ideology, which I do not support, and I hope that this guy goes to the Florence Supermax, because obviously New York State is dropping the ball on this already. Luigi Mangione. I don't agree with insurance companies, but I don't agree with assassinations. It's crazy how so many good people are agreeing with assassinations. Okay? Unbelievable. So Luigi Mangione, he did what he did in silence because he truly believed in what he was doing, even though his ideology was flawed and he's a murderer. This guy is different. This guy did it for clout. He told everybody and their mother in his circle, it just so happened his circle was small, that he was going to do it. His circle was small. He told everybody in that small circle he was going to do it, before and after. He made it no secret. So these folks had reason to believe that he was going to do it. Then they had all the evidence they needed to know that he did it after it was done. And not one of them contacted their local law enforcement. Not one of them decided they wanted to cooperate with police. Not one of them. The only one that has cooperated is the one that the FBI went knocking on their door, and that is his lover. FBI, open up the door. Oh. Whatever you want. Whatever you want. I don't want to go to jail. Whatever you want. Take the phone, take everything. Listen, that's not cooperation. That's called saving your own arse. That's what that's called. That's not cooperation. That's saving your own arse. Let's keep going.
Those messages last night on Hannity.
We've collected information where, through witness interviews from the FBI and local law enforcement, that he essentially admitted after the shooting and assassination of Charlie Kirk, the suspect admitted to it. But I will say what was found in terms of information, a text message exchange where the suspect specifically stated that he had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and he was going to do that. And when he was asked why, he said some hatred cannot be negotiated with.
The alleged assassin was an avid gamer and very active on Discord, which is
I just want to clarify because somebody said something in the chat and I agree with them. Somebody says, I think he did it for ideology. There was a group of people that shared his views. Several things were cut for transgender in that school. They had a petition to stop Kirk from having a debate. I do believe it was ideology as well. So I just want to clarify. I think he did it for clout and ideology. So I just want to make sure I throw that in there. And somebody else made a good comment. Says Amy Ayalo says, I think Twiggs is far more involved, and if the Discord deleted all their conversations pertaining to this crime, they're obstructing justice, correct? Yes, that is obstruction of justice. If you know that a crime is committed and you have material evidence of that crime or a confession of that crime and you're destroying it, that is obstruction of justice. I just hope that they don't get all softy on crimey and decide, oh, you know what, he's the shooter, so he's the only one that should go down, like what they did with Jennifer Soto. Oh, she already lost her daughter. Oh, let's not charge her. No. If you destroy a letter from a shooter that you know committed a crime, you are obstructing justice. You are accessory after the fact. At the very least, obstruction of justice. At the very least. If you want to make it stretch like you're accessory, okay, I got it. All right. I get it. But obstruction of justice, yes. And every single state and even the federal government has an obstruction of justice charge. So there's a charge on the books in Utah to support that, and there's a charge on the books on the federal docket to support that as well. If you burn a letter from your lover where he's clearly stating he intends to commit a crime, and then you know that he commits the crime, a capital murder, you are obstructing justice. You should be charged and jailed. there's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. Let's keep
popular messaging platform used by a lot of gamers. We've learned that shortly before the 22-year-old turned himself in, he confessed to assassinating Charlie Kirk in a group chat on Discord. In messages obtained by the Washington Post, he wrote, "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this. I'm surrendering through a sheriff friend in a few moments. Thanks for all the good times and laughs. You've been all amazing. Thank you all for everything." We also know just hours before those messages, in a different chat group, the alleged assassin was joking with friends who said he looked really similar to the man the FBI was searching for. Here's Kash Patel on Fox and Friends describing how those chat groups are factoring into this investigation.
People think we can just get in these group chats and immediately find out who's in them. And there are scores of people in this Discord chat room. But we have to effectuate legal process. We have to go out there with search warrants so that if prosecutors want to later use this evidence, it's not tainted by being illegally obtained.
The accused killer.
Yeah, just to kind of give you guys some sunshine on what Kash Patel is saying. He's making it a little bit more than what it is, because yes, he's correct. Search warrants have to be issued for the IP addresses, but it's not that difficult. It's not that difficult at all. All right. Some of those people may be using some type of encryption, VPN, stuff like that. Probably 10% of them are on that kind of stuff. The rest of them are just using whatever IP address is assigned to them for their cell phones, and it'll be very easy. There's probable cause absolutely exists because we know that the crime was committed. We have the person in custody who committed the crime. So probable cause or reasonable suspicion absolutely exists for them to go to a judge, whether it's a federal magistrate or a Utah judge, and get a search warrant. It's not that big of a deal. Once their search warrant is issued, they send it to the to Microsoft, who owns Discord. Microsoft would then give them all the IP addresses and all that stuff, and then they can easily trace back to who the phones belong to. Maybe a little more complicated if there's people who are using VPNs, but the vast majority of them probably weren't using that. So he's making it seem like it's a super long process, but it's really not. It is a process, but it's not as, I don't know, his tone just made it seem like it was extremely complicated, but it's not. It's not extremely complicated. It is what it is. Anyway, let's keep going.
Is expected to be formally charged today, and those charges are expected to include aggravated murder, which does bring the possibility of the death penalty. And in Utah, that can either be by lethal injection or by firing squad. Carly?
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Garrett Tenney, live for us in Spanish Fork, Utah. Garrett, we will be watching. Thank you so much. Let's bring in former Assistant FBI Director Chris Swecker. Chris, thanks for joining us. We learned a whole lot yesterday, and almost all of it had to do with this alleged assassin's digital footprint, messages that he sent beforehand saying that he was going to commit this crime. And
yeah, somebody made a good point. They said Discord said there was no messages with violence, but there were messages with innuendo about what happened. I think most of that stuff happened via text message. So there was a group chat text message where a lot of the most incriminating stuff was said, and they have access to that because they dumped the phones of the lover / roommate, etc. Real quick, let me jump in by we'll come back to what this guy has to say. I want to bring some of the I'm like kind of tricking my system by drinking an energy drink to kind of jumpstart my metabolism. So it's kind of got me feeling crazy because it's like, are you sick? Are you not? You know, I'm sick, but like my energy is going crazy because I'm drinking a Celsius. Can you even see it? Yeah, you can see it. I'm drinking a Celsius, so it's like, are you sick? Are you not? I don't know. So I hope I stay this way. I'm going to end up crashing, burning, though. All right. All right, here we go. So these are just a snippet of some of the messages. Oh, okay. I got to look at this screen to see it. It says, damn, I can't see it. Sorry, guys. What's something name? Video call, missed video call. You know what? Let me see something. Maybe I'll see it this way. You know what? I got it. I can't read it. It's too small on my screen how I set it up. So I have to do something different. I apologize, guys. I will definitely. Here we go. Discord. Perfect. I have to look at it on a separate screen. Okay. What's Broski's name? And video call, missed call. This is sorry, y'all. This is Ringo. He's a goat. Are we going to address the elephant in the room? This is y'all. That's just one text message we were able to get. Here's another one. This is supposedly the whole note addresses the note situation. It says the 22-year-old suspect in the Charlie Kirk killing appears to have confessed to friends in an online chat shortly before turning himself into law enforcement, according to two people familiar with the chat and screenshots obtained by the Washington Post. Hey guys, I have bad news for you all, said a message from an account belonging to suspect Tyler Robinson on the online platform Discord. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this. So they said there's no messages of violence on their platform, but that's basically corporate speak. No, there aren't any messages of violence, but he is admitting that he did something, right? This is on Discord that they're saying. The message was sent Thursday night, about 2 hours before officials said Robinson was taken into custody. A member of the group chat shared an image of the conversation with the Post and confirmed that it came from Robinson's account. The person spoke on the condition of anonymity to protect their privacy out of fear of harassment. The Discord conversation shared with the Post shows members of the group chat reacting to Kirk's shooting last Wednesday. Before the news broke that Robinson was allegedly involved, the group included about 30 people, according to the person who provided screenshots. Charlie Kirk got shot, one friend wrote Wednesday afternoon, according to an image of the messages. I just saw the video, holy shit. Another user wrote about an hour and a half later, adding of Kirk, bro, didn't deserve to go out like that. So even the people in the chat was like, yo, that's a bridge too far. The only response from Robinson's account came the next day with a message announcing bad news. I'm surrendering through a sheriff friend in a few moments. The message posted at 7:57 p.m. local time in Utah continued. Thanks for all the good times and laughs. You've all been so amazing. Thank you all for everything. So that's what we have with that. Oh, I do have the Washington Post article. We'll go ahead and read that. But a lot is coming out.
Apparently messages that he sent afterwards admitting to it. So how are investigators going to be using these messages to build their case?
Well, it'll be a very important part of their case. I mean, this is shaping up to be a very, very strong case. You have all the forensic evidence that's been piling up. You have these statements in the gaming chat room, if you will. The FBI has been gathering all this evidence in, as well as the other investigative agencies, and it really does paint a picture. So you knit all that together for a prosecution, and there just aren't a whole lot of defenses to this type of evidence. What I think Kash Patel was correct. What people wonder why isn't the FBI in these chat rooms monitoring things that are going on? It's just not that easy. They need a tip or a lead from a member of the chat room or a member of the public that's had access, because they can't just go willy-nilly surfing through all these social media sites and chat rooms and gaming sites. There are DOJ guidelines and FBI guidelines and constitutional guidelines that prohibit that.
But Chris, now that we have those guidelines and those requirements met, the FBI is combing through the digital footprint, not just of the alleged assassin, but those with whom he communicated. So, Chris, to me, the real question at this point is what charges could this possible extended network face if they are found to have radicalized Tyler Robinson into killing Charlie Kirk?
Yeah, it opens up the possibility of a conspiracy type of charge. That's going to be very difficult. This type of charge is very difficult if it's encouragement or passive, just listening to the information and not reporting it to law enforcement. That's a tough one. But that's.
They said this guy sounded like an NFL commentator. You guys are terrible. But you know what I was thinking when Kash Patel was talking? He looks like he juices. Like he takes steroids. Look, his eyes is like. He look like he's on the juice, man. No disrespect to Kash Patel, very accomplished dude, but he looked like he's on the juice.
That's something that I'm sure they're looking at very hard. If it's after the fact and they didn't say anything, That's one thing, maybe accessory after the fact. If they were privy to pre-planning and information that would have helped them help law.
All right, so I'm cracking jokes on Kash Patel, but this guy's saying something very important. Listen, this is about possibly charging these other folks with crimes who were aware of what the shooter wanted to do. Listen to this.
We're privy to pre-planning and information that would have helped them help law enforcement intervene and prevent this, then it starts to get a little bit stronger. So I think it remains to be seen here. It could be a stretch, but let's see what happens. I think they have a better chance of doing that type of case in federal court.
So one of the charges he is currently facing, it could change later today, but one of the charges he was arrested on is aggravated murder. And you heard Garrett say that does meet the criteria for the death penalty in Utah.
Damn.
Do you see that is where this case is going?
That is a very beautiful lady. Oh, Lord of mercy. Good thing my wife doesn't watch my YouTube channel. Wow.
Do you see that is where this case is going?
Absolutely. I mean, that's been mentioned in press conferences. It's been, the governor made it a specific point to mention that. And I think that's one of the reasons that, the state charge is much stronger, is they want to leave that death penalty on the table. There is a federal death penalty, but it's a little bit more difficult. So, and Utah has had executions in the not too recent past. So it's up there for and I would not be surprised at all to see the death penalty enhancement in the indictment itself.
And so,
yo, big shout out to Dr. Cataclysm. He says, $5 super chat. Kash Patel always looks like he's just caught him sniffing your boxes. Come on, doctor. Come on, doctor. You terrible, man. Owen, is this the same Owens I was in that group chat talking about something bad is going to happen the next day? Owen with $5 super chat says, what are your thoughts about this video? Marine sniper and taught ballistic class, search ballistics, don't lie. A video I didn't want to make. I don't know what this person is talking about. I would like to understand. I've heard that people are having problems like writing out their thoughts because like the super chat kind of box kind of messes it up or something. I'm not sure. It's happened like twice. What are your thoughts about this video? Marine sniper, a sniper, not snapper. Remember, I'm sick, guys. Marine sniper and taught ballistics class. Search ballistics, don't lie. Okay, so you're saying search ballistics, don't lie. A video I didn't want to make. Oh, that's the name of the video. All right, well, no, I don't have any thoughts on it, but I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe later we'll take a look at that. Chris Dry thinks that she's okay, and somebody is about to snitch on me, talking about, I'm going to tell mommy. That's messed up, yo. I'm going to be sleeping on the couch. I'm like, baby, it's just entertainment, man. I was just trying to make the audience laugh, man. I ain't mean it, man. She don't want my old ass. Come on. You're the only one that want me. Come on.
Notes on what people can expect later today. FBI Director Kash Patel set to appear before the Senate Judiciary Committee. He's going to obviously face questions on this probe. There's also going to be an appearance by this suspect, 5 p.m. Eastern time. It'll be virtually streamed from the Utah County Jail. There's also going to be a press conference held at 2 p.m. Eastern time to talk about the charges filed in this case. So we will be watching all of it as it unfolds, as we know, Chris, that you will be as well. Chris Swecker, live for us. Thank you so much.
I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brad.
Uh-oh. Very interesting. Okay. Let's go here, and then we'll read the article from the Washington Post, and then we'll get out of here. Appreciate you guys rocking it out with me. Been sick like hell today, but the show must go on, right? You guys are amazing. What happened?
Bureau and is now Director of Client Outreach and Education at the National Cybersecurity Operations Center. And clearly there's a lot of cyber investigation at work in this crime investigation. Darren, welcome. Your take on the evidence that you heard about today in this case?
So with the DNA evidence, obviously, if you're going to touch something, you're going to leave evidence on it. And with most guys of this particular persuasion, operational security is not the key thing they're thinking about. So being able to find digital forensic information about notes that he wrote, finding the Discord and perhaps Telegram channels he was on, makes it easy to go back and process.
Somebody said strategic and every news lady ever. All right, so maybe I got a news lady fetish. Tell my wife, put on one of them news business suits tonight. Tonight in Strategic Guy's bedroom, reporting live. You guys are naughty, man. You guys are terrible.
Says what he was thinking leading up to this event.
So it's
Giving me
shocking
some
when you
ideas.
dig into some of the back and forth on Discord, because after he committed this crime, allegedly committed this crime, this is the kind of, so his friends in this group chat, and many people in these group chats aren't using their real names. It seems like in this case he was, because they refer to him as Tyler and they talk about Charlie. But he sees the guy on the video who looks just like him and he says, oh, that's a doppelganger, that's my twin. And one of the other people says, whatever you do, don't go to a McDonald's anytime soon. And we all know that's where Luigi Mangione.
I apologize if I accidentally cough in you guys' ear from time to time. Remember, I'm extremely sick. Last night and the night before, I was throwing up like there's no tomorrow. And so I feel so grateful that I have enough energy to come and talk to you guys today, but I still have the residual effects of being sick. So I apologize immensely. I know it's a little unprofessional, but I really want to bring this information to you guys, okay? So I'm so sorry. All right, let me go back just a little bit so we can get them in context. I apologize.
Forth on Discord, because after he committed this crime, allegedly committed this crime, this is the kind of, so his friends in this group chat, and many people in these group chats aren't using their real names. It seems like in this case he was, because they refer to him as Tyler and they talk about Charlie. But he sees the guy on the video who looks just like him and he says, oh, that's a doppelganger, that's my twin. And one of the other people says, whatever you do, don't go to a McDonald's anytime soon. And we all know that's where Luigi Mangione, the United Healthcare CEO, alleged killer, that's where he was caught. And then they go back and forth on the reward, the $100,000 reward for any information. They say, oh, we're going to turn you in. He says, only if I get a cut. And then he's joking, better get rid of this manifesto and the exact copy rifle that I have lying around. As someone who's seen a lot of criminals and the things that they say.
So my question is, what the hell is Discord talking about? What are you talking about, Microsoft? What are you talking about, Microsoft, when you're telling us that there was no violence set on? Yeah, so, but they're joking about it, though. So I want to know, no disrespect, but what person in India, where they have outsourced all of these call centers, reviewed these messages and decided, because Microsoft is notorious for that. Why do you think all these scammers say that they work for Microsoft, the ones from India? Because if you do contact Microsoft directly, allegedly, it's going to be somebody from India. So I want to know what Indian analysts that they outsourced the jobs to looked at these conversations and then deduced that they were going to report to the FBI and to the rest of the world that no violence was discussed on their Discord servers, when we're clearly hearing them talk about the shooting, the reward, the gun. I mean, come on. Let's be serious here. He's bragging about what he did. He's bragging about what he did. I agree with you, JMK. A lot was discussed on Discord. Let's keep going.
This seems very cavalier for someone who just took someone's life and who never had any experience with this kind of thing before.
Sure, and I think there's a lot of cognitive dissonance with these guys, because they think, well, he probably didn't do it, but it sounds like something he might do, and it'd be cool if he did. So they have those kind of things in their head, because that's kind of how they've been raised with the way the digital environment is, right? There's 20 million Discord servers actively going on right now. We can't monitor them all, and there's a lot of bad things being talked about in all of those channels, such as this event, which I'm sure was discussed amongst people.
And listen, Discord is a ish show. I had a Discord for my channel, and it just was getting out of hand, man. It got crazy. It literally did. Like, even when I left it and I wasn't even going, I'm the owner of this Discord. It was the Strategic Eyes Discord. Even after I left it, it still was alive and just going wherever it went. It was just like it was like a organism. It just became something of its own. And people were just discussing all kinds of crazy things. I had to shut it down. Eventually, I remembered, I was like, oh shoot, I got a Discord. And then I deleted it. Because it was this madhouse. And there's like no outside moderation. The moderation is done by the people who are running the Discord. So if you don't moderate it, it's not moderated. It's a madhouse. For real.
That had the same political leanings that Tyler had. So again, hard to monitor it, but you just need one person to say, well, this doesn't really sound right. I need to talk to somebody about that.
Yeah. So what is the responsibility of someone who was given this information prior? You know, if there's a conversation prior to the shooting, and there was, in fact, we heard from Kash Patel that he said that this suspect said, I have the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and I'm going to take it. So anyone who received that message, what responsibility did they have to act on it, to go to the police, to let someone know?
Yeah, they needed to reach out to somebody to say, this doesn't sound right. Someone needs to look into this person. The cases that I successfully prosecuted was because I had someone within criminal groups that said, hey, this doesn't look right. How can I help you find these guys and put them in jail? And that's what we did. So someone has to step up and do that. Confidential human sources are what makes FBI cases work.
So this dark world that these young men are diving deep into, that is capable of at least being one component in completely changing their character. They lose all contact with their families. We saw the same thing with Luigi Mangione, same thing with Thomas Crooks. This is a huge problem that we have that led to, in part to the death of Charlie Kirk. As someone who studies cyber, can we shut this down? Can we get at this? Can we break it up? How hard is it?
Well, the hard part is, if we look at Discord by itself, it's a U.S. company. So the good thing for the FBI is because it's a U.S.-based company, they can do legal process to get all sorts of information from the servers this guy was on. If he was on Telegram, that's owned by a Russian national who has placed it in Dubai. We can't get to that stuff, and it's all encrypted. So if they have no motivation to support it or help, then it's not going to. And it's those are just two examples of a multitude of different types of things where discussions like this are going on. And we're not even talking about the dark web, which is a whole thing all into itself.
This is Kash Patel talking about how difficult this part of the investigation can be. Watch.
People think we can just get in these group chats and immediately find out who's in them. And there are scores of people in this Discord chat room. But we have to effectuate legal process. We have to go out there with search warrants so that...
It's not that serious. Like I told you guys before, the first order of business sent a preservation letter to Microsoft from the district attorney or the federal USA. You send a preservation order. After you send a preservation order, you send a search warrant for all IP addresses linked to that Discord room. You have reasonable suspicion. You have probable cause because you know that the shooter was inside of that chat. You also have all of the dialogue that was in that chat. It's like clockwork. My mom always calls me while I'm live. Like literal clockwork. Anyway, let's keep going. I'm going to call her right back. And then as soon as you do that, you clearly will see who the IP addresses belong to. So it's really not as difficult as he's making it sound.
If prosecutors want to later use this evidence, it's not tainted by being illegally obtained. We, the FBI, are running the investigation pointedly on the Discord chat group. There are scores of individuals that are going to be spoken to.
So you talk about the dark web, too. It's how hard it is to get into these networks. And what about the possibility that foreign governments are dropping algorithms into these environments to egg on these sorts of chaos creators?
Oh, absolutely. TikTok does it every day. It is probably the #1 methodology for the Chinese government to send propaganda and to disrupt the minds of kids like this. It's exactly what's happening. And to say Russia's not doing it is wrong because they're doing it, too. They're just not quite as open about it.
Darren Mott, thank you very much. Retired FBI agent and a national cybersecurity expert. Good to have you here today, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you.
I can report today that the DNA hits from the towel that was wrapped around the firearm and the DNA on the screwdriver are positively processed for the suspect in custody. We have the DNA on the screwdriver that was found on the rooftop and the towel that the firearm was wrapped.
All right, so he kind of went through that already. Let's go over to this Washington Post article. I actually subscribed to them and paid them the money. They had a good deal, $20 for the first year, $120 for the years thereafter. And you can cancel anytime. So I paid the $20. I have access until September 2026. And then I canceled my subscription. Ha, 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 ha. So they won't automatically charge you. That's what they do. You sign up, and then you forget about it, and then you get charged. And it's like, oh, too late. And then you be like, oh, my God, I didn't know you was going to charge me. They say, yeah, we told you. We told you last year. So anyway, Let's zoom in on this bad boy and let's see what they have to say. So it was me. Suspect in Charlie Kirk shooting appeared to confess in Discord chat. Wow. Let's get in there. I'm going to give you guys all I've got for this. I'm going to try and overcome the sickness and give you all that I've got. What do you got here? Aki says, can we get to 98,200? Only 5 more subs. Pretty please. Yes. 98,200. We need 5 people to subscribe. Please do subscribe to the channel. Show that love. We're trying to get to 100,000 subs by the end of the year. We need you. We need your support. And please hit that like button as well. Support the channel. We appreciate you immensely. Come on, guys. Show that love. Show that love. All right. We had 9,800, 200, but we lost like 5 subs because people didn't like what I was saying, I guess. I don't know. You can't please everybody on YouTube. So now we're trying to get back those 5 subs that we lost from somebody else and get us to 98,200. We're on the road to 100,000 subs. We need you guys to support us. All right. Now, somebody sent me something. I will look at that in a second. Let's keep going. The 22-year-old suspect in Charlie Kirk's killing appears to have confessed to friends in an online chat shortly before turning himself into law enforcement, according to 2 people familiar with the chat and screenshots obtained by the Washington Post. This is the Washington Post that we're reading right now, guys. A lot of this information about the Discord and the text messages came from the Washington Post. I decided to spend my own cash to make sure you get the direct source because this is behind a paywall. All right? Washington Post, don't come for me. All right. Hey, guys, I have bad news for you all. Sent a message from an account belonging to the suspect, Tyler Robinson, on the platform, online platform Discord. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this. The message sent Thursday night, about 2 hours before officials said Robinson was taken into custody. A member of the group chat shared an image of the conversation with the Post and confirmed that it came from Robinson's account. The person spoke on the condition of anonymity out of fear of harassment. Discord provided a copy of the message with the confession to authorities, according to a person familiar with the company's interaction with law enforcement. The person spoke on the condition of anonymity because they are not authorized to publicly discuss details of the investigation. The message was sent from Robinson's account to a small private group of online friends. The person said, Discord is working closely with the FBI and local authorities, providing information about Robinson's online activities on the platform, the person added. Discord has said that an internal investigation found no evidence that the suspect planned this incident or promoted violence on Discord. Like somebody said in the chat, they are using a very narrow definition of violence, but we are not dumb. We see the evidence for ourselves. Let's keep going. The Utah County Sheriff's Office referred the Post to the Utah Department of Public Safety, which did not respond to a request for comment. Spokespeople for the Utah DPS, as well as for the FBI and the Justice Department, declined the comment. Robinson was arrested last week after a 33-hour manhunt, accused of fatally shooting one of the country's most prominent conservative activists at a Utah Valley University event. Authorities have said one of Robinson's family members reached out to a friend who then contacted law enforcement, saying Robinson had confessed or implied that he committed the crime. Utah Governor Spencer Cox said over the weekend that Robinson's motive is still under investigation, but that the suspect appears to have held a leftist ideology. Officials said their interviews indicated that Robinson became more political in recent years and had criticized Kirk. All right, let's keep going. The Discord conversation shared with the Post shows members of the group chat reacting to Kirk's shooting Wednesday. Before the news broke that Robinson was allegedly involved, the group included about 30 people, according to persons who provided screenshots. So before they even knew who Robinson was, these people were talking about it. They had knowledge of it. Charlie got shot, one friend wrote Wednesday afternoon, according to an image of the message. I just saw the video. Holy ish. Another user wrote about 1 hour and a half later, adding of Kirk, bro didn't deserve to go out like that. Sad. The only response from Robinson's account came the next day with the message announcing bad news. I'm surrendering through a sheriff's friend in a few moments. The message posted on 7:57 p.m. local time in Utah. Continue. Thanks for all the good times and laugh. You've all been so amazing. Thank you for everything. Robinson was taken into custody at 10 p.m. that night, according to FBI Director Kash Patel. No one responded to Robinson that night, according to the screenshot obtained by the Post. But the next day, one friend wrote that their parent confession seemed to be true. The friend asked group members to pray for Tyler and his repentance, and then turned to Kirk. While Charlie Kirk's politics were not acceptable to some, I ask that we all say a prayer for him and his family during these confusing times. I mean, that's a nice message. So, I mean, it is what it is. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't know if we should be charging these folks unless more evidence points toward it. The only person I'm looking at is Twiggs. The only person I'm looking at is Twiggs, to be honest with you. The New York Times respond because, most importantly, because of the destruction of the evidence. The destruction of that evidence is huge to me. It really is huge. Let's keep going. The New York Times reported on a conversation in a different Discord chat. So there's multiple Discord chats, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier the same day, in that conversation, Robinson joked that a doppelganger was trying to get him in trouble after law enforcement released images of a shooting suspect who resembled Robinson. Cox confirmed the existence of that conversation on Sunday and said Robinson's friends did not believe it was actually him at that point. The person who provided other Discord messages to that post said they are from a different group. So there are multiple Discords. I don't know, unless more evidence comes out, if these folks should be charged. What I do know is that Twiggs destroyed evidence, and that's huge for me. That's huge. Now, I'm going to play this for a little bit because somebody just sent me an email. I want to see if it's probative for us to cover it. Give me 1 second.
In. The firearm itself, this is a great point. Thanks for raising it. That is being processed by ATF laboratories in Maryland, and I believe they'll speak to that at a later date when their process is incomplete.
A Fox News alert and a Fox and Friends exclusive. Moments ago, FBI Director Kash Patel giving us brand new details about Charlie Kirk's assassin, who is refusing to cooperate ahead of his first court appearance tomorrow. Fox News contributor and defense attorney Josh Ritter joins us live on the ground in Utah in front of the jail where the suspect is being held. Josh, thanks so much for joining the program. A lot of big information from the director. How critical is, even though you got the suspect, still getting more details such as the DNA on the towel in the screwdriver?
It's huge. The DNA, I was really glad to hear that they had a positive hit on that. The towel and the screwdriver, it looks like they're still going to continue to try to test for DNA on the rifle itself. That's very, very important. The other thing that the director mentioned was digital evidence. It sounds like they're now scouring his phone and creating a digital footprint and history for him. Also critical, hugely important. The other thing that he said that I really appreciated as a lawyer is that they are going about this very deliberately to make sure that all of their warrants are correct, that it's not just about seizing and collecting evidence, but it's making sure that you're preserving that evidence so that it can be used legally at trial.
That was important because, as you saw, Joshua, I was pushing him on the people that were in the chat. And he said, wait, I'm aware of it. We know who there are. There are actually more than 20, but we got to go through the process to make sure that it can hold up in court. Meanwhile, he also talked about
A big shout out to everybody who showed of love. We needed a few people to get us to 200, to 98,200. We went over that. We have 98,206, which is more than the 5 people that we lost to bring us below 200. Once again, like, I just want to say this, guys, that, you know, we talk about controversial topics. Once again, I apologize. I'm sick. You're not going to agree with everything that I say. This is an opinion show. When you come here, you come here just to hear my opinion as a law enforcement professional. Not my ideology. I try to keep my ideology to a minimum because we're here for facts. But understand that we're going to chase down every single lead, no matter where it takes us, beyond ideology. And I want to thank you guys for being so mature and understanding that if you want to hear ideology and you want to hear politics, you want to hear whatever you believe, you know where to find that. There's a space for that. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to hear the facts, then you come to us. And that's what we appreciate, and that's what we love. we talk theories, but we always tell you when it's our theory. We always tell you when it's alleged. We always tell you when it's a rumor. And then we tell you when it's facts. All right. So we appreciate you guys immensely. We're going to end the show here because I need to rest for a little bit before I go to work. It's already 12 and I go to work for 4 o'clock, but I have to leave 2 hours early to compensate for traffic and stuff like that. I'm going to, this stuff is readily available on the internet. My purpose in going live was to express to you guys that I believe that Twiggs is the next person who's going to be charged in this. It's my opinion and my theory based off of the information I've seen so far. I am not a proponent of collateral damage. I do not want to see somebody arrested just for the hell of it. That's not cool. I want people arrested based off of the facts. And the facts is that it looks like Twiggs destroyed evidence, which is the confession letter. And it seems to me that Twiggs had knowledge before and after of the crime. I would go a little bit longer, but I don't think my body's going to let me. So I hope you guys have a great day. Please hit that like button on your way out the show. Remember, we're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. Big shout out to all the members and to all the Patreon. Consider joining those too so you can get additional content. Let me cue up that outro. Strategic is out of here. Peace.